program is brought to you by P. Murphy and Associates, successfully providing IT professionals to Southern California businesses.
Hi, this is Marlene Gibbs with What Do You Do? And we're continuing our show with Joe Nicassio. And Joe, let's continue the conversation.
I'd love to.
All right, now it's all about you.
Oh,
Okay.
well, okay.
So, so let's talk about your background and really what made you go into it, because you did hit bottom. I want to talk about that. I think that's real important.
Sure. I come from a middle-class family. I was very interested in electronics and technology at a very young age, and I worked for myself. I worked for corporate America. I worked for small businesses. I worked for big businesses. And at one point I decided to run a business. I've been through making money, but then there was a time when I had a pretty devastating loss, and I lost everything. I lost all of my investments. I lost everything. I lost my friends, my family, my health. I mean, you know, if you've ever seen that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, how when you lose money, everybody rallies around. Well, my experience was a little different, because I did have the dark cloud over my head. I did get depressed, and everybody scurried away. And, you know, it's like when you have money, everybody wants to be your friend, and when you lose it, you find out who your real friends are, and it's a small number of people. So it was a pretty, you know, sad and depressing time. And
How'd you get yourself out of it? I mean, because you hit the skids.
I hit the skids, yeah. I mean, my net worth was minus a large number.
Yeah, okay.
It was minus a very large number. And I knew that I could not get out of this problem by just going and getting a minimum wage or a $8 or $10 an hour job. That was just, there was no way I would get out of it that way. And so, starting with a very large number, negative number, I made a decision. And I think that's the most important thing. You need to make a decision that you're going to go forward no matter how bad things are. You're going to keep moving forward instead of stalling out and crying, because that never works.
No.
There's a saying, positive thinking doesn't always work, but negative thinking never does.
Right.
And so I became obsessed. I went through kind of an obsessive compulsive quest for the truth of what really, really works in business. And I studied day and night what works in business. And there's a saying that every master was once a disaster.
That's true. How long did this period last? I mean, you know, you knew you had to pay off your debts, but how long did this period last? Because, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, you really sink low at this point. I mean, anybody who's gone through anything major understands that. Yeah, and everybody does, whether we admit it or not.
The actual super dark phase was a couple years, and it took me about 15 years to really crawl out of it. So it was not something that instantly, all of a sudden, my world was rosy again. It was a very challenging time, and it took me, you know, close to 2 decades to really get back to where I was confident, positive, you know, peace of mind. You know, it was a very challenging time. I mean, I learned some very difficult lessons. I learned that when you're down and you want to get back up, there's actually people that will want to kick you and keep you down. I mean, there's people that will take advantage of you. So it's not a very pleasant thing. But the main thing is you know, I kept my eye on the ball. I became very purposeful with who I am, where I was at, but more importantly, where I was going. And I became very knowledgeable about sales and marketing.
Because you know, in business, you can have everything else, right? But if you don't have the sales and the marketing, you really don't have a business. And you talked about that in one of the...
Yes, there's a thing called the mousetrap syndrome. And the mousetrap syndrome says that if you build a better mousetrap, if you don't have good sales and marketing, you end up with a garage or a warehouse full of mousetraps. So it doesn't matter if you're the best chiropractor or the best realtor or the best whatever it is that you do. You could be the best auto mechanic, you could But if you can't market yourself, you cannot get the cash register to ring. Without the salespeople, hallelujah to salespeople, because without salespeople, businesses would not exist at all.
No, that's very true. I think the more you learn about business, and you say it in your book, it's only two money-making departments, marketing and sales, right?
Marketing and innovation.
Marketing and innovation, okay.
Yeah, sales falls under marketing.
Okay.
So, help me continue here.
Okay, so you were down, and you did 15, 20 years where it was rough.
Yes. So in the process of learning all this sales and marketing stuff, at first I was doing it for my own healing. But I wasn't in a position to spend, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a franchise or something like that. So what I did is I took my knowledge and I started working with individual business owners. And the first ones I worked with for free, just to get case studies, just to get proof, to get testimonials that I came into their business and I helped them and transformed their business. So when I first learned this, I wanted to do it for my own healing, but then when I started looking around, I realized that 95 out of 100 business owners really don't understand sales and marketing and what really, really works. I was blessed because I got to study with direct marketing experts, people like Jay Abraham and Dan Kennedy and Gary Halbert. These are people that I learned from that are some of the top marketing geniuses on the planet. And it's like light bulbs were going off. I had like a set of 3D glasses where I could see some truth, and I was the only I was the only person with the pair of those 3D glasses. So I really wanted to serve and help so many people. What I discovered is everybody doesn't want to be helped.
That's not a killer. That's that's the spirit part of it. Not everybody wants to be helped.
That's right.
That's very important. I mean, that's extremely important.
Yes. My ideal client is a humble entrepreneur, somebody that really doesn't feel like they know it all. If somebody, the enemy to learning is knowing. If you know what you're doing, then you grasp onto that, and it's static. But learning is an ongoing process. So, what I've discovered with human beings is the number one determining factor if a human being will make changes is a sense of urgency. If somebody really wants to make change, if they got that burning desire inside of them, they'll make changes. If they're lukewarm, if they're letting it simmer on the back burner, it'll never change. So you got to have that fire inside. You really got to want to change. Otherwise, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep getting what you've been getting.
Sometimes people want to change. I mean, they do want to change. But the changing is harder. It's hard to change. I mean, we don't say one day we're going to change. I mean, we do say that, but then all the other stuff that comes up in the process of changing can turn us around easily.
Well, let me give you a secret.
Okay, to give me a secret.
Decision is more powerful than desire.
Okay.
If you say, well, I want to change, then you can fall back into your old patterns. But if you make a decision, I am never, ever, ever going to go down that path again, I've decided, now you're on the right path.
And you're not going to backslide?
That's up to you.
Okay.
It's like how strong is your resolution of your decision? Have you really resolved that you've made that decision? Some people will backslide. This gets into human behavior.
Right.
Humans are pretty sophisticated creatures, but if you make a decision that you're going to quit smoking, then that decision means not only you're going to quit smoking, but you're not going to buy the cigarettes anymore. You're not going to accept them from strangers. It's like, I've made a decision that this is toxic. It's not going to be in my life. And so decision is more powerful than desire. So that's a starting point.
Okay, no, that's a good starting point.
So it became my kind of a life mission and a life purpose to work with, my mission now is to work with entrepreneurs and business people in a spirit of harmony to help them grow and expand and prosper by applying my specialized knowledge and expertise in sales and marketing and entrepreneurship. And it's become who I am, it's what I'm about, and I've been doing it long enough now that I've got enough success stories. I've got people that refer, past clients that refer me, that the ball is rolling and things are in motion, and I'm proud of where I'm at, and I'm very grateful that I get to do what I'm doing. And every master was once a disaster. I think I said that before.
I like that. That's good. I want to ask you, because we were talking about this.
Yes.
Purpose and mission.
Yes.
Explain to the audience, because this is confusing. I mean, I've heard about purpose. I've done my purpose statement. I have not done my mission statement. That took me months to get those 15 words really clear, because I was constantly massaging it. Certain words didn't fit, then I'd move other words into what I thought I was doing. So it does take time.
Well, a purpose, knowing what your purpose is, a purpose doesn't fall out of the sky. You get to decide what your purpose is. Now that may come as revelation one day. It's just, oh, I know what my purpose is. It could be through just accumulation of your life experiences. But when you know what your purpose is, you know what your intentions are. You know who you are, what you're about, and you know the kind of difference or changes that you want to make in the world.
Right. Kind of.
Can you state what your purpose is?
Well, we were talking about my purpose. Yeah, my purpose is to, and this is my show, and I think I do this automatically, is to inspire others to discover, explore, and express their unique and creative talents in unusual ways.
Okay. The way that you stated it, it's pretty close to a mission statement. So you say, my chief aim is to work with these kinds of people to help them get these kind of results through my specialized knowledge or my gifts in what you do.
Okay.
Now, your purpose is for yourself. In a business, a mission statement is something more, not only for yourself, but it's for the whole business and for all your employees and your vendors. So, if we take an example of Federal Express, they have a saying, when it absolutely positively has to get there overnight. So their purpose is to get packages shipped overnight.
Right.
And it is a mission statement. So all of the employees know our job is to get it there overnight.
That's a real easy one to remember. I mean, some of them are much longer.
Yes. Coming up with the languaging may take many variations and polish. You're always polishing it like a diamond and making it better. But then when you hit the magic mission statement, it really resonates. So the mission statement for Federal Express is so clear. First of all, it's a promise to customers. So when they advertise and say it absolutely positively has to get there overnight, the people that are buying from Federal Express get it so clearly that they become a primary choice for overnight shipping. For the employees, it drives their behavior. It lets them know how they're supposed to actually be behaving. And it is such simplified language. And that actually brings this whole conversation to another point, which is how important is your message in your business. And I would say that the number one asset any business could have is your message, your story. If you tell your story well, then customers will understand who you are, what you're about, and they will be likely to buy from you. Gary Halbert, I mentioned him a couple times, but Gary Halbert used to say the difference between being rich and being poor may be one good sales letter.
Really?
If you can tell your story on a piece of paper or 2 or 3 pages of paper and people read it and they become educated, they become intrigued, they become interested, it triggers their emotions, they can understand and appreciate who you are, what services you provide, and it can predispose them to doing business with you. Those that tell their story well sell more. The more you tell, the more you sell. This is we call this the long sales copy.
Well, I read. I mean, you were talking about, I like to read sales copy. You were talking about that what's happening with the technology today. Still, the internet doesn't sell the way direct mail does or other pieces, unless
Yeah, what I was saying is the internet has become the panacea, the cure-all for all marketing. Today, if you go to a networking breakfast or a networking lunch, there's all these people selling search engine optimization and website design, and these are clearly very important things.
Right.
However, there's certain things that technology can't do. Like I can shake your hand.
Right.
You can't do that over the internet.
No.
Right now we have an eye contact. I can feel your energy. You can feel my energy. You can't do that over the internet. If you cannot sell face-to-face with somebody, the chances of you being able to sell over the internet are pretty small.
Really? I mean, well, I think...
Well, let me give you a case study of...
Okay, give me a case study.
Victoria's Secrets, okay? They're a big company.
Right.
They have supermodels. They have resources. They have billions of dollars in cash. They do fashion shows. They've done television commercials. And they spent a tremendous amount of money and resources to get people to go to victoriassecret.com.
Okay.
Now, this is a 2-year-old study, but I looked at the annual report for Victoria's Secret. And what I discovered was the amount of sales that came from their internet and catalog combined was less than 3% of total company revenue.
Oh my God, that is low.
97% of the revenue came from the retail stores.
Because people like to go in and touch it.
Yeah, they want to go see the products. They want to talk to a salesperson. They want, what do you recommend for me? Okay. So that's not just the internet. That's the internet and their catalog combined.
Yeah, but if I was doing that, I wouldn't buy stuff from Victoria's Secret I'd be at the retail store.
Right. Now there is a lot to be said that the catalog, people receive a catalog in the mail and they open it up, they can see some products, and sometimes they'll order from the catalog, but they'll still want to go to the store.
They'll order from the catalog if they bought it at the store and it fits and everything seems okay.
Yes.
Then they'll buy it from the catalog. They won't think twice about it.
We can come up with all the reasons or explanations, but the numbers speak for themselves.
Well, books are probably one of the biggest sellers on the internet, right? But that's a different...
If you already know what you're going to buy.
Yeah, you just go in but I love to go into bookstores. I mean, that is just an experience.
I know, and the bookstores are closing. So there's a main point here. If it's a big, giant mistake to have an internet-only business. Don't be an internet-only business. Be a business that uses the internet. Use all the online tools, but don't forget about the offline tools and marketing methods and experiences. McGraw-Hill did some research of what are the 6 habits of fast-growing companies, the 6 marketing methods of fast-growing companies. They were direct mail. Direct mail still works. When you receive something in the mail, you have to touch it. You have to look at it. Having salespeople, having a sales force, going out face-to-face with your prospects and clients and shaking their hands and talking to them and uncovering what their true needs are.
Right.
Having a real relationship with your customers. Using public relations. Getting articles in magazines and newspapers and being on radio and television. These are all very effective marketing methods. Advertising. Now, advertising can be very expensive, but if it's done properly, it can be very effective. So I had a business card several years ago. It's do you believe that marketing is an expense, or do you understand that it's a profit center? When you do marketing properly, when you do advertising properly, it's a profit center. And there was a couple other things in the McGraw-Hill research. I think it was events, doing informational nights or events or trade shows.
But it's the contact.
The other one's in my book, so.
But it's the contact.
Yes, offline marketing. People still live in the real world. People still, we live in an attention deficit society. In many ways, our economy has become an attention economy. There's an attention economy. In other words, if I have your attention, I have a chance to communicate with you. If I don't have your attention, there's not even a chance we can communicate. And there is no such thing as partial attention. I either have your full attention or I have no attention at all. And so the ability to capture somebody's full attention, ask them questions, listen to them, develop a relationship and a bond, okay, is if you have somebody's attention, you have a chance. If you don't have their attention, you have no chance at all. So if you build a website and nobody's visiting that website, it's useless. You've thrown your money away.
Okay, so they tell everybody in business that they need a website, they need this, I don't know, they need the Google stuff or whatever they're telling you that you need. I mean, that seems like a...
Well, let me share something with you.
I mean, I can understand the florist business with when they're doing the mail and it's going cross country, and you're sending a plant and it's going to come from another florist here in LA. I can understand that, or Monrovia, but some of it I don't understand. I don't think other people do. Well, I wouldn't hire an attorney over the internet.
This is where I'm different, okay? I believe it's malpractice to give a prescription without a proper diagnosis first. Most people in marketing are selling a specific product. So the website developer has a vested interest in selling you website services. The Yellow Page person has a vested interest in selling you Yellow Pages. The radio advertiser wants you to buy radio advertising because they're selling a specific product.
But if they know, I mean, I used to do this when we were in business. My husband and I would know if this is not the product, we would try to help them find something else, but if we couldn't help them.
Well, there's over 100 different marketing methods. And if you came to me and you said, Joe, help me with my business, I would not instantly say, well, you need a website or you need search engine. I would start asking questions. How are you at generating leads? Do you have plenty of qualified leads? If you have plenty of leads but they're not qualified, maybe we need to adjust the lead generation method so you get qualified leads instead of getting the wrong people. I mean, some people will hand you the white pages and say this is a list of leads, but they're not a list of leads. They haven't been filtered by their wants, needs, desires, demographics, psychographics, all that stuff. So number one is are you generating leads? Now if you're generating qualified leads, my next question is how well are you converting those leads into a sale?
Most businesses don't know this stuff, do they?
They don't. They have not.
They haven't.
They
really
are not expert at the process. This is where I spent all those 10,000 hours of developing myself.
It came to 4 years. I figured it out when
That's
you
if it's 24/7. It's stretched out even over more time than that.
No, I did it on 40 hours a week.
Oh, okay.
I did it. 40 hours into 10,000. I did my little. I thought, my God, that's a.
I've put a lot of time in understanding and mastering the whole process of marketing. So I don't have a vested interest in shoving a certain product. I want results for you. And so if you're generating leads and you're not converting, then we're going to work on your sales skills. Maybe you're really good at converting, but you're not generating leads. Maybe you generate leads and you can convert the first sale, but then you have no back end of products and services. The first sale is where you break even. It's the second, third, and fourth sale where you actually become profitable.
This is fascinating. I'm really enjoying talking to you. We're going to wrap it up, though.
Okay.
we're wrapping it up. So you want to tell the audience your name, your
Yes.
website, and your phone number.
Yeah, my name is Joe Nicassio, and my website is rapidresultsmarketing.com, and my phone number is 562-961-3976.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
This is Marlene Gibbs with What Do You Do?
Thank you for watching What Do You Do? This was part 2 of Marlene's discussion with Joe Nicassio. Keep an eye out for part 1. This program is brought to you by P. Murphy & Associates, successfully providing IT professionals to Southern California businesses.